Hello everyone, welcome to the postseason interview with the coach of the Iowa Incineroar, Landon, aka Infernomen. First and foremost, how are you doing today, my good friend?
Doing pretty good.
That's good to hear, that's good to hear. So we're just gonna go ahead and start getting right into it, jumping into the questions, alright? First question here for you. What are some of your general thoughts about your season as a whole?
Definitely a lot of progress. The first season I did, season 2, I did pretty good with my matches, just not like my best, and I didn't win a majority of them. I only won 2 out of the 6 matches I did, but they were pretty close matches for the most part. But I definitely did better this season because I won 4 out of 6 of my matches, and even got a sweep and had MVP 3 times in my division. So definitely had a better season comparable to the previous one.
Okay, love to hear it. You kind of already answered this question briefly with your answer, but however, this next question is, obviously, do you feel like you were able to improve from your performance from last season? And yeah, we kind of already know the answer now.
Yeah, absolutely. Like, you and offline helping me become better at battling, it definitely helped, and I've been able to apply that knowledge to my own skills and even improve my own ways. And you guys saw with my predictions and stuff that I made on my own that I've gotten a lot better at that kind of stuff. And I mean, not only have my skills improved in battling in the EBL and stuff like that, but applying those skills to Nuzlockes and stuff. Regular Nuzlockes are a breeze. It's hardcore ones that actually challenge me.
Okay, I like how you're taking what you learned from one thing and applying it to your stuff. I like it. I love it. Would you have approached this season differently in any way, like the way you drafted, or I guess just a general approach to matches?
I think like towards the end of the season, when I lost my last 2 matches, a little bit more prep with focusing on what could be the biggest threats potentially to my team, because I already knew that Xerneas was going to be a major threat to my team when I was battling Luigi, but I didn't prepare enough for it, and then it ended up sweeping me. So clearly I needed more work with that, and me deciding to bring the same team against Pitch that I brought before, with expecting not very many changes to his team from when we battled the first time, was another mistake, because I mean, he did bring Mew again like he brought the first time we battled, but he brought Reflect type on it, and that kind of led to my downfall. Also preparing for Rillaboom a little bit more might have helped.
Yeah, Rillaboom is definitely a threat.
Yeah. You mentioned draft-wise too, right?
Well, yeah, draft-wise, basically the whole season as a whole, whether it was your general approach to the matches or, draft-wise and team-wise, like you just touched based on.
Yeah, draft-wise, I think the only things I'd change is drafting something else instead of Slowking and Tyrantrum, because Tyrantrum was brought a total of 2 times, and it wasn't used. First time I brought it, I swept Ace with 3 Pokemon on my team, and none of them were Tyrantrum. And the second time it was brought, it got one-shotted by Xerneas, so it didn't even get to attack. So I definitely would have picked something else other than Tyrantrum, because my Noivern ended up being my more useful dragon type. And in terms of Slowking, it was more useful, but I didn't really get like too much use out of it, except for the first weekend. I kind of used it for the wrong reasons. I wore down the Tyranitar instead of, doing what I needed to do with Slowking.
Got it. Understandable. Now, were you more or less satisfied with how your season went? I know it might be a little bit of a dumb question, given you didn't, if you didn't win it all and whatnot, but were you more or less satisfied with how the season went?
I was more satisfied than I thought I would be. I think it would have been more satisfying if I had that perfect record, because, just losing 1 match of the regular season. Like, I would have been fine with going down in the playoffs if it meant that I had a perfect regular season, but of course that didn't happen because of Luigi Xerneas, but, I'm still pretty satisfied with the way it went. It definitely shows how much I've improved.
Good, good. Love to hear that. Love to hear that. And you definitely have improved a lot. Do you feel like you lived up to the goals that you set out for yourself before the season kicked off?
Yeah, my goal was to win as many matches as possible, definitely more than season 2, and
okay.
I didn't achieve the goal of making it further in the playoffs than I did in season 2 because I got knocked out round 1 again. But I did make it to the playoffs in a much better spot than I did in season 2. My goal was to not barely make the playoffs, but be set in a very solid spot in playoffs. And after I had won my 3rd match, I was locked and loaded, ready to go into the playoffs. So I was all good to go by week 4. So I was definitely happy about that, because season 2, only one coach from each division wasn't able to make it into the playoffs, and I barely made it because of the fact that Jack lost. But this season I made it in like without question by the time week 4 rolled around. So very, very happy about that.
Okay. Okay. You also kind of touched base on this a little bit as well. But aside from what you mentioned with the Pokemon that you've mentioned, would you have changed your team if you could have in any way?
Yeah, I don't know what specifically. Offline had mentioned a couple other options that would have been available. I don't know if he'd specifically replaced Tyrantrum and Slowking with those options, specifically since one of them was Diggersby. I don't think he would have taken Diggersby over those two specifically, but definitely would have tried to do something else if I could have. But nothing we could do about it now. Season's over. It was great. I had fun.
That's good. That's good. Were you able to adjust your team quickly, or did it take some time for you to, before you were able to fully understand it?
I'd say I pretty much had a solid understanding of what my team could do by the first week. Okay. Especially with the practice we got in before I fought Alan. The match against Alan, of course, went way differently than what we expected, but I mean, the MVP of that match, Vanillux, I had used in the previous season, so I understood that pretty much. Freeze Dry, Blizzard 100% accurate, and Hail is exactly how I understood my Vanillux, and Freeze Dry and it being super fast with its statistics, what Offline had me put for it, that definitely helped out when it outsped the remainder of Alan's team, and Freeze Dry one-shotted his last 2 team members.
There you go. There you go. Now, were there any sort of challenges that you struggled with throughout the season? And if so, were you able to sort them out?
I think the only struggles I really had was like sort of figuring out when to use moves that aren't attacks, because I've always been like an attacker, but I actually try my best to apply moves outside of that. And I definitely I definitely overcame those challenges. Like for example, when we gave Noivern defog to get spikes off the field, I believe I used that once, and it felt good to do that because I'm like, I'm actually doing something useful that's going to help me in the long run. Just moves like that help out statistically actually feel good to use, because if your Pokemon doesn't die in that turn, you feel good because you made the right choice. Predicting is really important, and using those kinds of moves definitely takes some predicting. Like, is this Mon that I'm facing to use this move right now, is it gonna one-shot me? Does it outspeed me? And if so, is it gonna take enough HP away from me where I'm not gonna be able to survive another turn? It's stuff like that.
Yeah, no, you're absolutely right. It's that all of that is very important in a competitive scene. Especially the predicting. Can't stress that enough too. Now, were there any issues that you expected to run into, but they never really turned out to be much of a problem?
I think that the biggest issues I had was whether or not certain Pokemon would be useful.
Okay.
when Offline told me that I should draft Hitmontop, I didn't really know what Hitmontop could do, what it was special for. And even Offline, he's like, Hitmontop's not really going to be like that great of a mon. It's just going to be there for like, you know, extra attacks and stuff like that. Getting some stuff like, you know, rapid spin, getting spikes off the field and stuff like that. Not really like something that had MVP potential, but as we saw from like 2 of my MVPs this season, like very underrated Pokemon that can put in more than you might think, ended up being MVPs on my team, and Hitmontop was one of them. So, you know, Hitmontop was definitely something that I never expected would do well, and it really did a lot.
Okay. Was there anything that you found easier than expected, or something that just came easy to you?
I think the easiest thing was when to Dynamax, except for in my match against Pidge. I felt Tapu Koko was right to Dynamax against Luigi. Unfortunately, that didn't work out for me, but I mean, with the way it was, there was never a right time to Dynamax. If I had Dynamax Hitmontop, I probably would have gotten like 1 max steel spike in and I would have died right away. So not really the best examples, but like pretty much the rest of the season, like knowing the right time to Dynamax was perfect for me, especially when we had talked about beforehand, before the matches, you know, in what specific matches the first person to Dynamax basically loses the match. And there were definitely a couple cases where somebody else, like my opponent, Dynamax before me, and that kind of led to their downfall.
Okay. I gotta say, since you touched base on it with Coco, I'm just gonna throw that out there. I did chuckle a little bit because your reaction of Coco going down while Dynamax in one shot up, that was kind of funny to me. I'm sorry.
I was devastated.
I'm terribly sorry. But your reaction was hilarious. Not poking fun. It's just, you know, it sucked that it happened, but you still had a great season. Like I've told you constantly. It's just that one little thing that it was like, gosh darn. But it was kind of funny to see on your face and whatnot. Now,
I guess.
Now moving on here, you made it to the playoffs. What were your thoughts after your last game of the regular season as you were heading into the playoffs?
I guess at that point, me losing against Luigi kind of put me in my place in a sort of way. Okay. I never was cocky. I was never like, oh, I mean, yeah, I was, but those were like mostly jokes. I'll say that, like, I'm gonna make it to the championship, I'm gonna win and stuff like that. That's just being confident. But like, I knew there was a chance that I could lose in the playoffs. But losing to Luigi really helped me realize that more. And I was kind of scared going to the playoffs because I was like, I got lucky when I won against Pidge, and there's probably not going to be a chance for me, especially since we didn't put Sucker Punch on Hitmontop. For my match against Pidge, I was like, you know, that situation isn't going to happen again. What could possibly happen? He's probably going to bring the Rillaboom instead of, you know, some other mon. What mon is he not going to bring? We brought Rapid Spin on Hitmontop. He didn't even bring Toxapex. So just going into playoffs, I'm like, there's a chance I could lose here, and it would really suck after how well of a season I've had up until my match against Luigi.
Okay. Now, what are some of your thoughts of EBL Season 3 as a whole, including everybody that you've managed to interact with, any new friends that you've made, you know, everybody? What are your thoughts on the season as a whole?
I feel like the more people we add, the more interactive it is as we move along. Season 1 was good. There wasn't as many coaches as we have now, obviously, but you know, there was just a small group of us interacting, and it was good and all. I felt more involved being in Season 2 though, not just because I was a coach, but because, you know, we had more people and you know, it was very, very interactive. I got to make friends with Carlos and stuff like that.
Okay.
But then Season 3, I definitely think was the most involved I've been with the EBL, being back as a weekly roundup host, being the coach of one of the best teams in the league in terms of record, you know, stuff like that. I definitely got to meet Alan the Doorman a little bit more. There's other people as well. And you know, getting Luigi to be a coach, I'm the one who invited him. That was nice. Max Game Reviews and I feel like our friendship grew pretty much a lot, you know, throughout this season. We talked to each other every week about how our matches went and stuff like that. Offline as well, you guys both helping me pretty much every week was pretty cool. Also, I don't think I would have interacted with Tara as much if she hadn't become a coach, just because, you know,
True.
she doesn't do like the most amount of content for the Stone Fam, and you know, having her own team and stuff like that was a good way to interact with her, especially since we had a match against each other. Seeing how Yeltneb fought, you know, everybody had a pretty good season, no matter how many times they won or lost. It was nice to, you know, meet everybody and see them fight, and it's like we're our own, you know, family. It's really neat to be a part of the EBL.
That couldn't have said it better than that myself. Couldn't have said it better than that myself. I completely agree. Now, are you excited about being part of the next season?
Definitely. I'm really excited that the draft is going to be like ahead of time. That's going to be in a couple weeks here. It's good for people like me who like to shiny hunt our team members, or at least have shiny members, and Offline's having me hunt for some team members this season instead of just choose from the list of shinies I already have. So that'll be good. I'm planning on hunting them after the draft, so, you know, I know that I actually have them on my team. Plus, I think with all the lessons I've learned from this current season, I can definitely do a lot better next season with that applied knowledge, and I'm really hoping to make it further in the playoffs next season.
Okay.
Also, another fun thing about next season is that me and Josh will be back on the roundup together, so I'm very excited about that.
There you go.
And Josh is going to be a coach again, so, you know, all of that. Timmy's going to be a coach. Smoosh isn't going to be a coach still. Woohoo.
Was that it for that one? For you?
Yeah.
Okay. If you could rate this season out of 10 for your team, what would you give it?
I'd give it an 8 out of 10.
Okay. Good.
I definitely think there's a better team I could have, and I'm pretty sure with what Offline's giving me for season 4, that's probably going to be my best team yet. Warning you guys. Hint, hint. Incineroar and Vanillix are not coming back next season. So it's gonna be exciting.
Can't wait to see what you got planned up your sleeve, bro. Now, with all that out of the way, do you have anything that you would like to plug right here, right now, for everybody to hear?
Currently on my channel, you guys know I shiny hunt. I'm currently trying to finish as much of my Galar decks as I can for the shiny living decks until Scarvio comes out, you know, the new game Scarlet and Violet. We are currently hunting Toxel. Stream 6 will be happening on Monday, which means it already happened. I'm probably putting this out on Tuesday or something, since, you know, leading into the next thing, currently Latin Luigi, the coach of the Tijuana Gengars, and I are doing a Sword and Shield or randomizer cage lock. The episodes get funnier every single time. We had I'll let you guys know, Luigi's episode on Wednesday, something happened in that episode that made us stop playing because we were laughing too hard. It's just a blast working with Luigi, so you guys will definitely want to check that episode, that series out. Currently, when you guys are watching this, 5 episodes should be out, playlist in the playlist section of my channel. And usually this is when I say that I'm part of the EBL, but that's what you guys are here for, so obviously you already know that. But gosh, I'm very shaky about whether or not I want to, like, you know, make this official or not, because, you know, I want it to be like an official thing when the videos come out. But my first sponsorship on the channel, something very exciting content wise, is supposed to be coming out this week, hopefully, if I can get it done. Keep an eye out for that. You guys will know what it is when it comes out, so keep your eyes peeled.
Definitely sounds exciting what you have coming in for the future. We all can't wait to see it. But That is it for the Iowa Incineroar's postseason interview. Excuse me. Best of luck to you. Best of luck. I can't talk today. Words are difficult for me. But best of luck to you in season 4. Do you have any last words for your fans out there?
I may have been really confident about season 3, but if you thought that I was good this season, Iowa Incineroar will come back in season 4 with a brand new logo and a pretty fire team. So get ready for the Iowa Incineroar in season 4. It's going to be hype.
Nice, nice. And there you have it. I hope you all have a fantastic day. And we will see you for the kickoff of season 4, which I don't remember off the top of my head. But like Landon said, the draft will start fairly soon here. So we can't wait to see you guys for the kickoff of season 4. Take care.